So welcome to our thought for today. My name is Debbie and I'm a curate, which is trainee vicar, at the Church of Epiphany in Gipton and Oakwood Church in Roundhay. So before I got one of these, I lived on a canal boat for a number of years. During my first winter, I invited some friends over for tea. And although I sought to reassure them that the boat would be well heated, they all turned up with duvets, blankets, and a hot water bottle. Not surprisingly, within a few minutes, my mates began to ditch the duvets and the blankets, along with the several layers of clothing because they were too hot. It was one of those moments of, I told you so. But despite all of my assurances, my friends made the assumption that the boat would be freezing cold, even though they had never been on a canal boat before. Now, at the moment, our church buildings are closed due to the coronavirus. But my friend's experience reminds me of the kind of assumptions that people can sometimes make about going to church. It is as if the moment we step into a church building, we somehow leave our real selves at the door. But how on earth did we get to the stage where we feel we have to get dolled up and be on our best behaviour, and that the church is only for those who are good enough? You know, growing up as a kid, I certainly gained the impression when on the very rare occasions my family actually went to church, I was routinely pulled aside before entry and reminded of the 5 golden rules that my parents said were written in the Bible for children, which are these: behave yourself, don't scratch, don't pick your nose, don't yawn while the vicar is talking, and for God's sake, don't you dare fart. Needless to say, that's how I grew up, believing that I had to behave in church. But our assumptions about best behaviour and trying to look good in the eyes of others can be just as much a stumbling block for Christians as well. Personally, I think it does us no harm to remind ourselves that godly virtue is never about 1,000 careful, measured acts of good behaviour that really is exhausting to maintain. And neither is it about trying to present a false front, when all the while the real us sits backstage, out of sight. One of the things I enjoy about the Bible is that it is just jam-packed with stories about ordinary people who were real raggy arses. Trust me, EastEnders and all the other soaps combined would have nothing compared to the stuff that people in the Bible got up to. But here lies the thing. It is these self-same men and women who ended up having unexpected encounters with God, which turned their world upside down and the right way up again. Time and time again, God stepped into people's lives right where they were, in all their confusion, struggle, pain, and loss. And that is no less the same for us now. So my challenge for us today is to think about how we might lay aside some of our assumptions about church. God doesn't ask for a moral inventory, and we don't have to scrub up or go through the sheep dip or car wash before we enter a church. In fact, it's completely the opposite. We really don't need to bring anything with us, just our messy selves as we really are. So forget duvets and blankets. God's invite to each and every one of us is to step aboard and step into his warmth and be embraced by a love that honestly will never let us go.